Hey everyone, it's my little corner. I thought I'd just show you where I make the arts, and let me just switch cameras. So I'm here in my little cubicle where I make my living working from home. I used to have a little cardboard cutout box that would hold the phone, but I seem to have lost it. So I'll remove the keyboard. So thank you for tuning in. My name is Jan. I'm working on a comic book for an anthology. I'm very excited about this. This is a little USB to USB-C dongle converter, so I can back up all the pages, because I seem to have run into some trouble with international payments, but maybe more about that later. Let's see. Is it going wrong? Nope. Okay. Right, so I'm Jan. I'm working on a little short story about the Wildcat, which is CB Smallwood's comic book character, and he's making an anthology. So some of us have teamed up with him. We all get to write our own story, creative freedom. Mine is going to be about somewhat of a vlogger who gets himself into some serious trouble at a wildcat sighting, if you will. So the wildcat is like a hulking brute, if you will. I don't know too much about his character, but he's reminiscent of Pitt, mixed up with some experiments and a red arm. So like Winter Soldier type monster superhero-esque comic book. It's kind of what it is. So that's what I'm making. So in previous episodes that I've put up, I showed you how I roughed out the pages on paper, and then I showed you how I cut up those pages, and I started adding balloons and captions and some sound effects, just to kind of give myself an idea of how the reading would follow page on page. And I started cutting up the rough pages I had. Actually, let me just see if I need to order. Yeah, I need to add a layer here. And started to add the odd layer. Yeah, so basically putting together the short story in a very rough form. Started cutting up the rough pages that I had, moving things around, resizing. I tend to zoom in a lot, I find, making comic book pages. And it's taking shape. So let me just very quickly cut into what you're looking at and show you what I got. So this is what I'm doing right here. I just got the idea for this particular page to get rid of a whole bunch of panels and just keep it really basic, like a big shot of a helicopter at the disaster area where there's been a big explosion because the Wildcat happened. And then I'm going to get rid of the other panels and just have two people talking, the FBI agent and the vlogger who's been caught at the scene. And then, they're trying to find out like what he had to do with it and what his story is. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And in the meantime, you guys are watching the creation of some type pencils. And because it's digital and I'm drawing on iPad, the new iPad Air 4, using the Apple Pencil, it means I can turn them into inks instantly. and that's I'm kind of hoping for the happy accidents, so that if I happen to knock it out of the park on the first go and get some really nice lines going, then I'm done. But for the most part, even though I'm really fond of the pages as they're coming out, I have to get better at using Procreate, because I'm more accustomed to drawing in Photoshop on the Wacom. So I'm new to this on the iPad, and what I find is similar to Photoshop is that I have a certain way of drawing, which is a bit different from drawing on paper, which is great because you have a different medium, so you want to try out different things. But what I find is that there's a way I try to kind of sketch in ink, and I tend to sometimes I'm not quite sure what I'm trying to do, so I'm really just sketching, and then I'm trying to eke out the lines, if that's the right way to say it. So I tend to use the eraser a lot to kind of get at what I'm seeing, or what I want on the page, and drawing like that digitally, it's great fun, but it creates a lot of lines that don't quite look like nice inked lines the way you would ink them traditionally or get them traditionally, and it leaves a lot of artifacts when I'm erasing a lot. But it's great for getting an image on the page, so it's a bit of a trade-off. So there's definitely parts of these pages where I find that I wish I could just print off these pages and then ink by hand on top of them. So I print them out in blue and then ink on top of them traditionally, and then kind of mix and match. So what's good in digital, I'll just leave it, and what is better or easier for me to get right and tight with a nib, I'll blend that in. The only downside is we've just been in a serious lockdown here in Manila for 2 weeks, and they've lessened the degree of lockdown, but so many places have gone out of business in the neighborhood, including the printer I used to go to. So now I'm thinking like, well, maybe it's time to buy a printer and a scanner. But then at the same time, expenses, we've got some very big other expenses coming up for some life stuff. So, probably not a good idea right now. So yes, let me just quickly get going here. It's kind of hard talking and doing this at the same time. So I don't know where the video is at right now. So it's gonna work. But I do know that what you're looking at is me inking this 8-page story, and I've made a lot of progress. So last weekend, was it last weekend? Yeah. I had 3 days off, and I was sitting here for 3 days, and I did 3 pages, right? Let me just go back here. Yeah, 3.5. And so that's pretty good, but that means I have to hit at least 1 page finished every single week from now on if I want to hit the deadline. So that's the plan. But finished, of course, means a lot more than what I'm doing right now, because there's lettering and all that. So I still got my work cut out for me. I need to do more than just what I've been doing, drawing a page. So shall I keep this small? It's kind of more impactful. Yeah. So I've got my my reference picture up here, and a reference for line weight down here from a comic book. And so I'm just gonna draw the reference of the Pentagon. For this little tale I'm creating for the Wildcat Anthology. That's CB Smallwood's character, for which I got an invite to create an 8-page comic book. So I'm writing, drawing, inking a tale that features his character. Of course, this is also one of the first times that I'm actually making a comic book page from start to finish on the new iPad, which I guess isn't that new anymore. But yeah, I've done page 1, quite happy with it. And all of a sudden it dawned on me, like, oh, this is actually the first page I've finished from, all the way, which is cool. This is also the first time I'm having a look at the Pentagon. Apparently, it's the world's largest office building, whatever that means. So I'm just going straight in inks. No time for pencils, because this is going to be such a light, finicky thing to draw. I figured if I screw it up, it's digital, it'll be easier to erase and just do it over. And it kind of has to stay in the background because I want to show off this whole drawing here with the guy in the foreground that I just flipped. So here's the finished page. One of the nicer features of Procreate on the iPad is that it builds up these time-lapse files in the background without you really having to do anything. So it means I will always have something to show. It's almost as if they thought about us poor comic book artists trying to show our books in progress on YouTube. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. I'm quite fond of how this is coming out. I think the building could be a little tighter, but I'm also reserving judgment for when I see it in print, so I can really check myself, because sometimes we tend to judge ourselves a little too harshly as artists, which is a good thing, for progress' sake. But sometimes I feel like that mindset of always being dissatisfied with your own work, it gets a little out of hand and makes us feel, well, perennially unhappy with what we're doing, which is not always a good thing. So yeah. Here's some of the other panels on the same page. Story being told of an investigation into a vlogger who finds himself in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's kind of what this story is about, as he captures a wildcat sighting on camera. Another nice feature of working digitally is, of course, when things are slightly out of proportion or don't quite line up, you can just use the lasso tool, quickly move them around when there's nothing wrong with the initial drawing. It's pretty awesome. I think the dog wants to go outside. Just a sec.
Kasi sit. No, you sit. Sit. Sit only. No. No. Hyper. Hyper. Good dog, good dog, good dog. See? Di nagpe... Oh, yeah. You remember. Remember. That's the only thing.
And we're back in the studio. Hope you guys enjoyed that little stroll through the neighborhood. But I guess for now, let's put this back here. Finish up this page, shall we?